Hello, welcome. We're just getting things ready to go. So, if you're just joining us, please give me a thumbs up or a message on the chat. Let us know where you are calling from, where you're at, and very exciting topic today. Maybe we'll start with a quick question. This month is all about getting your business on autopilot. So, is your business already on autopilot? What do you need to do to be there? So, do give me a thumbs up in the chat. Let us know what location you're at, and we will get started in a moment. So, the question, getting your business on autopilot, that's really what I've been talking about this month. It's been all tech stuff. Yes, I'm a behavior intelligence expert. I've developed lots of systems and tools. And today and this month has really been on business, getting things on autopilot, leveraging AI, and so forth. So you just have me today. My name is Nagi Behelik, and I am the founder and CEO at the Business and Behavior Intelligence Network. So we have a number of things that we want to talk about, but today is really diving into that wonderful new technology that everybody's using. Well, when I say everybody should be using. A lot of the big companies are using this, and why not us? Right? Why not every business owner? So, as I have mentioned in the last week and previous weeks, technology has come a long way. I've been involved in it since the emergence of personal computers in the late 80s. So I've seen the journey. I've been involved in parts of it. I've pioneered some of that technology, been on the leading edge and bleeding edge at times. But it's amazing what we can do today. So I want to share some of that with you. So I hope you can join us in some of the future sessions where we dive into more of the building a business that is really running on autopilot. And as we move forward, we'll bring back the behavior intelligence and we'll talk about the importance of behavior with business. And so stay tuned, do follow us. If you're enjoying these sessions, do click follow or subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'd love to have you following us and working with me. All right. So without further ado, let's get started. Today is about how you train a AI chatbot. Well, how do you set one up? How do you get that little icon that you see on the bottom of the screen to take questions, field questions from people, and even book a meeting on your behalf, right? So we'll go through some of that technology. And why is that important, right? So let's take a quick look at the reasons for that. A chatbot works 24/7. That's really an important aspect. So even while you sleep, if somebody is online and they have a question and your bot is trained to answer those questions properly, it can handle those, it can field them, it can qualify people, and it can book those for you, right? So the problem is really when you're not able to do that, even during the day when you're busy. I know tradespeople, your hands are dirty, you're doing something, you don't want to answer your phone, you can't just stop or even consultants. Maybe you're in a meeting, you can't interrupt to take a call or to answer a question. Your chatbot can be working all of that time with you. The response time, we talked about that last time when a couple of weeks ago, when I talked about the voice AI answering the phone for you. People want to be responded to quickly. You know, we just have such a short attention span that if we don't get the answers we need ASAP, we move on, right? So that leads to lost sales. If it's a support situation, people get frustrated when they don't get support when they need it. Sometimes it's time critical. Like for instance, if I had a glitch about to start my webinar today, this session today, and I couldn't get hold of a support person, that might be devastating to the whole event, right? So response times are important. We need to respond quickly when people engage. You know, we see this also on social media when people interact. You know, the first number of interactions are really the critical ones, and responding to those is important. So again, if you've just joined me, welcome. We're talking about chatbots today and the whole AI journey. And next week, really diving into putting all of that together, the voice, the chatbot, the workflow automation, the conversation AI on SMS, on WhatsApp. You can just do so much with technology today. And we use our own platform, which I will reference later on. This is the BizDMP, Business Digital Marketing Platform. It is our branded product that we use for all of our systems because it's fully integrated. So I'll show you some of that in a moment. Okay, so let's jump into some case studies, real world scenarios. As I've mentioned, I've been around for quite a while, seeing all of the journey from the very first CRMs to the integrated solutions we have today. So been in the programming side, I've been on the business side, I've led people, and I work with behavior because the team and the people are the critical part of growing and scaling your business. And AI is actually part of that journey. You need to recognize when to use AI or technology, and when to use when that should be applied to people on your team. Okay, and being able to separate the two is really important. So if you don't know what you can do with AI, how can you make that decision? How can you possibly decide, oh, this should be done by AI and this should be delegated to my team? How do you separate that if you don't take the time to learn these things? Okay, you don't need to learn how to do it, although I'll show you how easy it is. But you need to at least know what you can do and how it could be done so that you are not caught by surprise. You're not basically told things that are untrue, or people pull the wool over your eye with what. If you don't understand what's required, it's very easy to be conned, if you like, into something that is just not true. Today it's very easy, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Getting back to the slide on the screen here, the real world impact is about, I put it into two buckets: getting more clients and keeping clients. Okay, that's really the business aspect. And even the behavior intelligence, when we talk about that, it's really about behavior in how we attract and get clients, and our behavior on how we treat and keep clients loyal within our business. when you use the right tools and you understand the difference between automation and delegation, which is one of my favorite topics, you get to really embrace some of these statistics. 30% increase in lead conversion. Why is that? The reason being is when you respond quickly, or when they get their answers done quickly, and they can be qualified into an appointment or a free trial, your conversion goes up. In fact, I think 30% is on the low side. It's probably more like 50 to 80% increase in lead conversion when you have the right things in place. A significant reduction in response time. Again, that's fairly conservative. The improvement in booking, and that's really where some of these tools can really shine. We saw that with the voice AI answering the phone, whether it's an IVR, taking people through the process. You don't need a fancy telephony system. You can do it all through the AI that's built into the BizDMP platform, which I mentioned earlier. So this is our platform, bizdmp.com. All right, so moving along, what are we going to talk about today? Well, I'm just going to jump straight into showing you how easy it is to do this. We're not going to have a very long session today. We're just going to really hone in on what I've already talked about, the importance of using the tools, understanding what's possible so you can decide what to automate versus what to delegate. Okay, I should probably have that as a caption on my screen: automate versus delegate. Okay, now to do this, you don't have to use our platform. Of course, we'd love for you to do that. You can take up the 14-day free trial to explore it, but there are many platforms out there. So whichever platform you choose, that's really your first step, deciding what you want to do with your bot, right? Then you need to train it. And, it used to be quite complex to sit there and train it and think of all the questions that people might ask and fabricate the answers. Well, AI has become so powerful that it's actually able to research your topic on its own. It can collect information, and then all you've got to do is tweak it. I'm going to hopefully show you some of that today. As usual, I haven't prepared anything. This isn't scripted. This is real life situation. So things might go wrong. So but I look forward to having some fun with this. Okay. I think it's fun. I think it's great it's possible. And you just got to think that way. You got to enjoy it, which is the way to learn. If you don't know something, is you got to try. You got to fail. You got to go through that process. So that's the behavior intelligence side of things. Configure it, integrate it, put it on your site. We'll touch on all of that within our system. And then you can also run some tests. Highly recommended that you run some tests, get your friends to test it, ask some questions, and take you through some of those things. All right. So let's jump straight into this. The first thing I'm going to do is really show you where we're going to put this. Okay. So this is our platform. We have all the marketing, CRM, email marketing, automation, everything is built into the same platform. You can see across the top all of the things that we can do within the platform. And the page that I've picked here, it's a funnel, it's a landing page with multiple parts. This is one of the many sites that we manage, and this was our BRQ Live, our Behavior Intelligence Live page. And as you can see, it doesn't have a chatbot. So we're going to build one. All right. So how do I do that? Okay. The first thing I need to do is go into my chat widget and click new, right? And decide what type of widget I want to have. Is it just purely for live chat? Yes, that's kind of what I'm doing today. But you can do an SMS one, WhatsApp, and so forth. So these can all be done in one or individually. I'm just going to pick the individual one. And there it is. It's actually ready to go. It's here. And it doesn't have anything in it right now. So we're going to tweak it and modify it. We're going to play with the styles a little bit. So, we'll pick the purple, the style of the layout. We can change that. The types of prompt, and what we wanted to say when people first come here. It's a bit harsh. We might soften it a bit. And we'll say, what can I do to help you today? All right. So we'll just change that. Hi there. Welcome to BIQ org. What can I do to help you today, right? So there's the greeting, and down here, we will continue to modify these as we go. So if I save that, we should now see that start to happen there, right? So there it is there. Okay, I misspelled BIQ, so we'll just fix that and just save that. Now you can just stop there, get the code, and decide where to put it on your website. Okay, but we have a simpler way to do that. If you're using WordPress, you can do the same, and you can plug it into WordPress. So now we're going to configure the window itself, so we can go through and we can dive into some of the things that we want to collect. We want to collect the person's name and maybe their email and phone number. Okay, so by doing that, I am configuring this section here, right? Do I want to redirect them afterwards? So I can do that. I can turn that on, and I can decide where I want to send them at the end of the session, but we're going to look at how to use the bot. So I'm not going to spend too much time configuring this, but I just wanted you to see just how flexible the tool is in setting this up. Okay, so lots of things that you can configure within here, including the language. This is supported in multiple languages. So if you've got sites set up to deal with people in different languages, you're also able to do that. Okay. Now we're going to call this the, because it's the IQ org, and we'll just give it a name for that. Okay. And it's updated. I'm just going to save it anyway. And this is the first step. Okay. Now we want it to be smart enough to be able to answer queries. Okay, so if we come back here, this is the page that we want it to kind of respond to. So I'm now going to go into the AI training area to configure the bot and how it's going to manage that. So First things I want to do is I want to tell it to handle live chat. We don't want to use this for SMS right now. And I want to put it on autopilot. All right. There's some advanced settings down here. You can configure the delay, how long it listens to somebody before it considers it lost, abandoned, and then you can jump into the workflows to handle that. And I'll demo some of that next week when we put all these things together, right? I like to hit save as I go, just to be safe. And now we're into the training area, okay? And I have the option to give it URLs to look at. So I copy that URL of that page that we were just looking at, and I'm just going to hit get data, okay? So it's going to take a minute to process that, look at that URL, look at the site, and it was pretty quick. There isn't too much in that one page. So we'll give it another one, because you can train it on multiple pages, multiple sites, and so on. So now it's also accessing BIQ.org, and I can add to this as we go. In fact, we'll give it one more. It's just so that you can see just how easy it is to train it. And it's looking now into the site, the pages, etc. This one was pretty simple because it was just a one-page site, but BIQ.org might have a little bit more on it. Okay, and we'll let it do that. In the meantime, I'm going to give it a quick question. What is BIQ Live? Let's see if it knows how to answer that already. All right. And look at that. BIQ Live is a free online event exploring behavior intelligence, methodology for leaders, etc. Right? So I said I will also do BizDMP because that's this platform, and I always like to have people know that platform as well. All right. Let's ask it another question. When is the next event, right? And I don't think we had one on that page, so it might not come back with that. But you can see actually it grabbed an old one, right? So again, be careful what you train it on. So what I might do here is tell it that that's incorrect, and I can now correct it by changing that. Okay, so I have the opportunity to do that. We'll just turn that off later. Okay, so it's doing its thing. I can also come down here and I can train it on some specific questions. What is AccuMatch BI? Right? AccuMatch BI stands for the behavior assessment that is unique to uncover unconscious behavior patterns. Okay, so something simple like that. Okay, so if I now save that, and it's done the BizDMP as well, now I can ask it about AccuMatch. What is AccuMatch BI? And so forth. So we're now training the bot on a number of different things, and you can see it's not very complicated. If you know your topic, you should be able to easily set this up and get this part working on your website. Okay. And while it's thinking, we've got the BizDMP content. We can get it to, if we do an update, we can get it to do that, right? And there it is. There's the answer that I trained it on. It's responded with that information. Is BizDMP part of BIQ.org? Right? All kinds of things that you can keep training it on, and the more questions you ask it. So the reason it's not picked that up is because on the BizDMP platform we haven't mentioned anything about BIQ.org, and vice versa. But wow, I just realized that maybe we need to have this correlation so that when people come to one, they can understand we are the same organization. So again, you are also figuring things out while you are doing this. So there's a benefit to doing that. Now we get into some of the more advanced settings. What do you want the bot to do? If it comes across a question that isn't easily answered in the instructions that you've given it, and this is similar to what we did a couple of weeks ago with the voice AI, where we told it, gave it some clear instructions on how to act, how to behave, and so forth. And you can see that all in here. You can modify it. These are the guidelines, right? And if I don't like those guidelines, I probably would modify this to be more specific to my product. You can do the same up here. And it doesn't have an intent at the moment, but let's give it one. And let's say we want it to book an appointment, okay? And we're going to use the, which one? A sales meeting, perhaps? Let's do that, all right? Don't book appointment, all right? Select this, will stop that. So pause the bot after booking the appointment, right? So we might do that. Do we want to trigger a workflow after that? So we can pick what workflow we want it to follow. So we would probably do a invite to an event as an example, right? So you have a lot of flexibility on configuring which calendar you want it to book into, and we have multiple calendars. You don't need Calendly here. It's built in. You can set up a sales calendar, a meeting calendar. You can have classrooms, training sessions, all kinds of things within the same platform, right? So it's going to try and book a sales meeting. Okay, your goal is to assist the customer with their queries, and if you cannot answer them, offer to book a meeting. So that's one of the instructions I want to give it. What else do I want it to do? If someone requests a demo, or let me spell these correctly, a demo, or wants to speak to an agent, then offer to book the meeting. Okay, so these are instructions, and you can modify these as you go along. Okay, and we can test that, right? We can do that right here. Can I speak to someone about this, right? So just ad-libbing the text, and hopefully it will plug that. Sure, I can set up a meeting to discuss that. Would you like to book a meeting? Yes, please. All right. And so on. So I'm not sure what it's going to do at this stage. When would you like to book? So it's asking me to offer some times. How about next Tuesday at 9 a.m. Mountain Time? Okay. And so on. So it's really exactly like that, how it's going to work on the front end of that site. Now, it's not currently configured, but we'll stop playing at the back end. Now let's go to the front end and see just how well this will work. So if you remember, this is the page, and now I'm going to go in here and go into settings, and I'm going to tell it to use this chat widget that we have just set up and configured. All right. It says it's ready to go. So let's switch back here, refresh my page, and let's see if we now have a bot on the bottom of that page. And voila. And look at that. It says exactly what I told it to say. Hi there. Welcome to BIQ.org. What can I do to help you today? Right? Let's see. What new question have I not asked it before? What would BizDMP be used for? Right. Give us a minute to assign you to the best person to help you. So that was one of the things I hadn't trained it on. So now I'm seeing also why you should get some of your friends, your clients to test this for you, so you can figure out all the things that you haven't trained it on. So again, I'm going to say great. Let's do that. And it feels like you're talking to a real person, right? Nothing clever in here. When can I meet with someone? Now, it's got a little bit of a delay because if you remember, one of the settings, I think it was set to 2 minutes, so it's not responding just instantly because of that setting. Okay, so just keep that in mind when you are setting up your bot. I'll just go back here and go into the settings within here. I have to remember where it is. I think it's in the advanced section. Okay, so wait before responding. How quickly do you want it to respond? Do you want it to respond in 2 seconds, right? So how responsive do you want it to be, right? Okay, so now we're waiting. So I'm just going to refresh the page. Oh, look at that. Click here to start a chat. Oh, what happened? I closed the page. My bad. Let's go back here. Let me start my session again. Okay, so we will get back into this. Yep, when I refreshed that, I lost my place. Hi there. Okay, so I kind of blew it a little bit. Remember I said, technology can go wrong. There we go. Hey, DSTMP is used for management analytics, helping businesses make informed decisions. Um, when would you like to meet? Right. And again, I'm at that stage now in the bot when it's asking me to book the meeting, which is what I trained it to do. So that wasn't very hard, and I did it from scratch in less than 15 minutes. Okay. And you can keep exploring that, you can keep adding to that, and so on. So we will move back to our presentation, stop screen sharing, get back to my presentation, which I lost. My apologies. Let me grab it again. And here we go. And back to where we were. So, live demo, we covered setting up your chatbot from scratch. We covered training it, the automation, the lead capture. It was booking the information. I didn't show you the lead capture where it will ask me as the next step after confirming a time to provide my name, phone number, and email address, which are the things that I had set it up to do. Right. So, not very complicated. You don't need to be a super techie to do this. Don't let people convince you that you need to be a programmer to program all of this. It's really something that you can play with. Have fun with it. What's the damage you can do? Look, I did it on one of our live sites, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, thanks for the feedback. It's great. Uh, it's what it's doing is really answering questions. And when somebody says, "I want to meet with somebody," guess what? They're a qualified lead. How hard was that? 24/7. You don't need to be there, right? It's going to sync it with your calendar. It will notify you depending on the workflows, and we'll cover that a little bit next week, putting it all together. It will then send the reminders. It will, if you've got it set up to send them more information, you can do that. That's all part of the journey of qualifying the leads so that they convert more easily. It's all about conversion, right? And it can escalate the queries that it can't handle. Some quick case studies. We've got a company with an e-commerce store. They were constantly struggling with who's going to jump on there and answer questions, because the old style bots weren't AI driven. You had to manually do that. Now they are handling a much higher volume, increased sales, and also because of the times when people aren't available or when the support people are busy talking to other people, you can train it to handle all of these kinds of case studies, right? Coaches, consultants. How many times have you been in a meeting and missed an important opportunity to get a new client, right? So it's an important part of running your business on autopilot. I'll put this up on the screen very quickly. Your business on autopilot. Is your business already on autopilot? Because if it's not, you need to get back to what do I automate versus what do I need to handle myself or delegate to somebody. The human aspect is dealing with all of the exceptions that the AI will never do. But the automation, the workflows, all of these things really need to happen on autopilot 24/7, right? And it's there in the best practices, using a conversational AI like we have. versus the humanization, and providing the combination of the two is really important for you to consider that when you're building this. So, do you want your site to work 24/7, to work while you sleep? Right? That's the real question now, isn't it? Okay. So I think that's the majority of it today. Like I said, it's short, sweet, hopefully. I hope you've had fun with it. If you have questions, I'll watch for any questions that come up, even after we end the session today. If there's any questions, I will look for those and try to answer those. All right. Can you get up and running straight away? That was one of the questions I had from one of the prospects. You saw how easy it is. You can jump onto the 14-day free trial, and you could be doing this right now, instantly. Okay, it doesn't take time to get that set up. So, without further ado, this is really it. bizdmp.com. Not sure if there's anything else I want to share here. Do send your questions in the chat. Appreciate the feedback. Thank you, Tracy, Esther, Michael. Great to see you guys. Thanks. And I hope to see you online. Take care. Have a great, fantastic week. And till next week. Do join me next week. It's going to be exciting. It will be a bigger chunk as I go through putting it all together to run your business on Autopilot.